We are leaving the Jacksonville area. We've been here for over a month, getting close to 2 months, doing boat projects and visiting with family. It's the day after Christmas. We just left the Ortega River Marina, heading for Jacksonville. We'll go by it, head out the St. Johns River, get to the Intercoastal, and then head south, getting ready to go to the Bahamas. There's a real big change in watercolor here where the ocean water meets the St. Johns River water. Pretty crazy looking. We've been motoring all day long, and we're coming to our anchorage, Pine Island here, between Jacksonville Beach and St. Augustine. A nice day out on the water. A little cooler than we would have liked, but that's why we're heading south. The engine's off. Oh, we're gonna get to watch the sunset. Nice. All right, there we go. Quick watch of the sunset. And we're out here with our cruising guides, trying to plan out tomorrow. It looks like we can go all the way from here to Daytona Beach. We're just 4 or 5 days away from good crossing staging areas, and hopefully we get some nicer, warmer weather, and then some good crossing window, because we're ready to be on the move. So we're glad to be out adventuring again. We went all day from before the sun rose till right before the sun set, and we went through St. Augustine and ended up here in Daytona Beach. So when we woke up yesterday morning, our batteries were like completely dead. We've got our eyes on that today. We got them charged back up. Boat work continues. Another day of motoring down the Intercoastal. We left before sunrise at Daytona Beach, and we made it just south of Titusville here. We're at the NASA Causeway Bridge, and there's NASA right over there. All right, we went all day again yesterday and made it to Vero Beach, the most interesting of mooring fields, where there's never no vacancy, but we just came in, tied up to the boat. We even climbed onto their boat to tie our lines up, and slept for the night. So it's kind of interesting. We're just 2 boats on this mooring ball. There's a lot of 3-boat mooring balls there. We made it from Vero Beach all the way to Hobe Sound. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve, and we're planning to stay here through New Year's Day. So Lindy's getting the anchor set for us. We had a nice New Year's Eve and New Year's at Hobe Sound. And we've moved on to North Lake Worth, which was really our goal place to be, to start staging for crossing to the Bahamas. But as you can see, there's stuff everywhere on the boat. Also, Lindy got a haircut. She looks awesome. And the reason there's stuff everywhere in the boat is because something must be wrong. The old batteries are acting up. Don't have the capacity that we used to have. The batteries are about 4 years old anyways, so it's time for us to go over to a marina and buy new batteries. That'll be an expensive proposition, but something that we've got to do. Good that it happened here instead of after we already got over to the Bahamas, because then it would have been worse. All right, we're back again. We spent the last 3 nights at the marina here in North Lake Worth, and found out we did have a bad house bank of batteries. So we installed a new house bank. It's about time for us to cross the Bahamas. We're looking at a window. Just in case we go, we've totally loaded the boat down. So, Lindy is going to tell you a little bit about all of our food stores we have on board.
So we have a limited amount of refrigeration space, but we want to take as many fresh fruit and vegetables as we can so that we don't have to rush to a grocery store when we get to the Bahamas. And there's a lot of things that can be stored without refrigeration, but since it was refrigerated at the grocery store, you have to do a little prep work on it. So our peppers, I'm currently letting them come to ambient temperature and trying to get all the condensation off of them so that they do not rot, and then they'll just be stored kind of similar to our clementines here, where they'll just be hanging in a bag out and about. And we've got some potatoes are hanging back in the quarter berth.
We read that they should be somewhere dark, so we hung them up there.
Back there, and also you don't want them resting on things that will cause like bruises. The other thing I have is cabbage, and cabbage can be stored without refrigeration also, but I'm trying to get it, again, you've got to get the condensation off of it or water causes rot. So, and we're going to do the same thing with the carrots. And we've got some mushrooms that we're just going to sit out also. But we've already got some carrots and some mushrooms in the fridge. So this is kind of a neat thing. You can do this at home. Green onions you can put in a cup just like you would some flowers. Just put a little bit of water in it. And then if you only use the green tops, they will actually keep growing. We've got the rest of our produce here. We've got some bananas, although they're supposed to be bad luck. We always have them, whatever. We've got onions, tomatoes, lemons, limes, a few pears, eggplant, mushrooms, some broccoli, a lot of cheese back there.
All of our meats are frozen in the freezer. We've got a big old cabinet there that goes back about 2 feet. More canned goods, salsa, drinks. Up here we've got snacks galore. Up there,
pastas and rice, quinoa. It's also where all my baking supplies go. But that's full of crackers, chips.
Tell us about what you just had there in your hand.
I'm making some bread here. So when I make bread, most of the recipes really are for 2 loaves. What I usually do is make 1 loaf of bread, and then we have pizza. So tonight we'll be having pizza with some homemade dough, and tomorrow we'll have some sandwiches.
All our water tanks are full. The diesel's completely full. That's 6 gallons a piece there. That's a solar shower, the orange thing there. That's a 10-gallon solar shower and a 5-gallon solar shower. Another 6 gallons of water, 5 gallons of gasoline, 2.5 gallons of gasoline, and then 5 times 4 gallons of diesel. In addition to our, onboard tanks being full. And then we've got 1 more 6-gallon tank of gas in the dinghy that'll come on board, as well as the dinghy when we get ready to go. There's Miami, Fort Lauderdale. The keys are down here. There's Lake Worth. And this is Grand Bahama here. So that's where we're shooting for, and we've got to steer a little south. The Gulf Stream will push us towards it. And from there, we're either going to head to the Berries next or go over to the Abacos, depending on the weather. We're ready to make the crossing if we choose to do it. Meanwhile, Lindy is working on a deep dish pizza.
I've only even eaten one like twice.
I love deep dish pizza. So this is from the dough that you saw earlier. There's the half of the dough is turned into that nice loaf of bread there. So.
Okay. And it goes.
We've moved just about an hour from North Lake Worth to Lake Worth here, just near Peanut Island and the inlet. It's really pretty here. The water is just about swimming pool clear. Little taste of what it's going to be like in the Bahamas. There's a lot of boats in this anchorage. I don't know if they're all staging to cross but that's what we're doing. Let's see here. The inlet's just over there. So out here and to the right, it's the Atlantic Ocean. It's a real close shot. Good inlet. We're gonna keep working on our decision that we're gonna go. I mean, we won't really decide till it's time to pull up the anchors. It's a light wind night. We'll be motoring probably all the way to the Bahamas. Back here you can see Palm Beach getting smaller in the distance. So that's it. Next stop, Grand Bahama. Well, we actually got some wind a little where we could put the sails out, make a little bit better time. The Gulf Stream is definitely affecting our speed because we're pointing into it a little bit. You can see we're heeled over a little and just powering through it. So making our way out.
The tricky thing about picking a weather window to cross to the Bahamas is that the predominant winter winds are from the east. At least 75% of the time, the wind is going to be blowing directly from the Bahamas, which means motoring or motor sailing. North winds are no good because they oppose the current of the Gulf Stream, causing rough conditions, and are usually associated with cold fronts and rough weather anyway. The preferable south and west winds, which would allow for sailing, only happen occasionally, and usually right before the bad weather of a cold front. You could easily wait more than a month for that perfect sailing weather window. The most usual occurrence for a safe, decently comfortable crossing are what you see here. Light winds from as far south of east as possible. Of course, we wish we were lucky enough to get a great sailing window when we were ready to go, but we weren't willing to wait around for it.
Past the middle of the Gulf Stream now. We're still motor sailing. It's 5:30 in the morning, so should start to see some light in the eastern sky. We're looking forward to the sunrise. We can still see some lights on the shore back behind us. We're thinking that'll start to dim about the same time the sun starts to rise. Pretty cool. The sun is almost ready to come up. Can't quite see Grand Bahama yet, but the coast of Florida has disappeared behind us. Still just motor sailing. Calm down a little out here, I guess. Every once in a while a big set of waves will come through and we'll go bouncing along, but it's not bad. We sighted land about an hour and a half ago. and we're making our approach. We'll go past Freeport and into Port Lucaya. We've already went past West End, which is right back there. We're racing the clock a little bit to get in there before the sun sets. We're still in over 2,000 feet of water right here. It's crazy looking. Of course, you can't see the bottom, but it just looks like you can see down real far. Who knows how far. It's awesome looking. It's flat calm out right now. Barely any wind. Settled in last night. We slept. I slept about
11 hours.
11 hours. We're going to go check out Port Lucaya. I've been here before, like a half of a lifetime ago, and it'll be Lindy's first time. So, time to go see what it's all about.
Port Lucaya had modernized quite a bit from when I was here 20 years ago on a bareboat charter with friends. Being so close to the U.S., Grand Bahama has modern-looking towns, buildings, resorts, and roads. Its feel is much more like the Nassau area from our first trip to the Bahamas rather than the Exumas. Still, we were overwhelmed with excitement just to be here and ready to go see the sights of the town.
All right, we've gotten down here to the market. I believe that when I was here before, those slips over there that are under construction are where I stayed 20 years ago about. And then I think we used to eat breakfast right over there. And then this is like the market area.
Early in the morning, the market was mostly a ghost town. We were hungry and went out in search of some breakfast.
We just had a great breakfast, and we had our little weather meeting at breakfast, and we think we're going to leave from here tomorrow and head down to the Berries, because we've got a good weather window, and if we were to stay here another day, we'd get stuck here for a week. So I think we're going to keep moving.
Hey, can I please direct everyone's attention to the background music? It's a full-on Rod Stewart album. And I've only recognized 2 of the songs.
We've walked back to the boat now. Over here is the marina office, and also that's where Customs and Immigration was. That's where we checked in. So the rest of this morning, I'll refill the diesel, fill the water tanks, we'll throw our trash away, just kind of get the boat ready for going tomorrow. And then the rest of the day we'll explore around the area a little bit more and just enjoy our short time here in Grand Bahama. All right, so we got done with our boat chores. All the tanks are full, so we're ready to go in the morning. And now we're gonna head on the water taxi over to the square again and see what's happening there for our one last evening in Port Lucaya. There he comes there. He's going to take us over to the square. It took some intense waving and they almost went by, but we got him to turn around.
I feel like we should give that fella that went up and tapped him on the shoulder one of our $2.
Luckily, the water taxi stopped for us and we went back to the market area, which was now filled with people starting their evenings. We hung out for a while, loving the warm winter weather and enjoying the beautiful clear Bahamian water.
Alright, so we checked out the straw market area with the water taxi, and we think there's a restaurant up here, so we're gonna go check it out for dinner, see what it's all about.
The name of the restaurant is apparently like the upstairs restaurant.
The upstairs restaurant.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, up the stairs. There we go. So we've ordered food at this awesome restaurant with a great view of Port Lucaya. They had a burger special. Then you got a bacon and cheeseburger. And I went with the conch burger. Conch burger.
And in contrast to our Rod Stewart music morning, we currently have some Michael Jackson on the radio. So it's a little bit.
Gotta love the Port Lucayans' taste in music. We definitely loved visiting the city in our first couple of Bahamian meals. But it was time to move on to more natural areas with anchorages instead of marinas.
Join us for episode 4. We visit the Berries and see some of the most beautiful areas in the Bahamas we've ever seen.